Okay, well, it looks like pretty much everybody has joined, so I think we're going to go ahead and get started. So, welcome everyone to the AI Platform Confusion Let's Simplify It webinar. Lisa's going to be walking through how to match the right AI to your goals, team, and workflows. If you have any questions, you can pop them in the chat, and yeah, we'll go ahead and get started.
Thanks, Lauren. So today, it's all the buzz about AI and what can it do for you and is it safe? We're gonna walk through a couple of these things and talk through, really what is AI? It's the capacity of computers and machines to simulate that human intelligence. There's lots of different capabilities with it in sense of learning, problem solving, and really helping you make decisions. But AI is about augmenting, not replacing human intelligence. And AI isn't any good without the actual person there to help it get through things. So, some of the greatest advantages of it, whenever it comes to the content and the communications, drafting, helping you put together different thoughts, that knowledge of research, questions and answers, and really just giving it a document and having it take a look at it and giving you a good summary for it. I use it a lot for research, and then I'll feed it some spreadsheets or give it some parameters about how different things are put together, and let it help me in some of the guidance of that. And of course, the best one is the creativity. Um, I'm the kind of person that I need something to help me think a little bit further. And I found AI can help, burst that creativity and make me more of that artsy thought provoking person. And then when you really get embraced with AI, you can bring it into some workflows, bringing a lot of automation, agents. We'll talk a little bit about, how that all gets set up and the different integrations it now has with lots of different services. So with that, there's benefits and there's risk. The benefits, definitely the speed, scale, and creativity. Lots of really what I could do, putting together a proposal took me at least 3 hours. Now with the help of what it can bring to the table, I have now got that down to about an hour with all of the automation and different pieces that I have built with that. But there is some risk with that. It's the accuracy and the bias, making sure that AI isn't, hallucinating. That's another term that's really come to the forefront with AI. We love it for its consistency and cost savings. Writing our statements of work, now I don't have to get involved in those and making sure that it has all of the terms and conditions at the end of it. It provides that great template to it. But again, more risk. The privacy and the data leakage, making sure that where you're putting your data, and that it is a secure and compliant place. It's not that magic button, but and it requires work with it, but it does bring a lot to the table as far as cost savings and that speed. I really want to talk a little bit about the myths of AI. It's big and complicated and expensive, and that is so not true today. The way that one of the things that I really recommend is that as you look at these tools, don't engage in it for a whole annual commitment because it is changing so fast. So, looking at them on a monthly basis and seeing what they can bring to the table for you at that time, being able to turn it on and turn it off. If you're saying it's not for your business, you got to take another look. Don't be scared. I know change is hard, but the things AI brings to the table, you'll appreciate it once you dig into it. AI employees are not using it, and that is, we have come in and done some assessments and showed companies, and they were like, oh, wonder what that person's doing with that. So AI is so out there in the consumer world that people are finding it easy, and they're bringing it into their work, and helping them get their job done. And, you got to think about what they're uploading there and where they're uploading it. And there was one conversation that was had about an office manager and a business owner, and the office manager didn't even think about the document that they had uploaded to the free version of ChatGPT. And it was business confidential information, and didn't even dawn on them to think about, well, now AI is learning off of that document because I don't have a paid subscription. So understanding that terms and conditions to it. Employees need educated about it. Um, and the other thing is, waiting for it to develop more. It is constantly changing. So it's a perfect time to jump in and learn as you go. Just like I always say that people don't like to engage over into the Microsoft 365 subscription system. But I'm like, it makes it so much easier because they change it a little at a time, and that makes it easier to adapt. Same thing with AI. If you jump into it now and start to learn it now, adapting to all of its changes is going to make it easier as it keeps growing. And, will it replace you? Absolutely not. It's going to replace the redundant, the stuff that people don't like to do, stuff that's easily replaceable. It's going to elevate it's here to elevate humans. It's always going to need human intervention with it. And automating without that dehumanization, you won't be able to use AI without a human with it. It needs it to help write the prompts, tell it what you want, um, pieces of that. Um, it's not going to take a person and be able to completely replace that whole person, because that person needs to be there to help it understand what you're looking to do. Um, the AI has the length of the tasks that AI can complete. Back there in the beginning, it was slow to adoption. And, just in this past year, that has really streamlined, has really accelerated, I guess I want to say. And now we're able to reap a lot of benefits from all of the changes that are happening with it. So, now is the perfect time to jump onto that platform and be able to ride the waves with it. Truth is, it's only getting better. Your competitors are going to be using it. Your employees, they are experimenting with it. They're experimenting with it at home, and they're going to bring that to the office too. And your data is at risk if you don't have a policy in place that says exactly what is allowed to be used with AI and what your expectations are with it. The truth is, it is really easy to get started with it. And here's the motto that we're taking with it. First, let's start off with a crawl. Let's eat this elephant one bite at a time. Let's crawl, let's walk, let's run. And you can can adopt this in the rate that works for you. So what does crawl look like? You just take one task that your team does every day, something that you feel like is maybe a little bit of a time waster, or why does that take so long? One of the things that we did when we started with this was our statement of work writings. A technician would have to put together all the technical specs to it. I had to review it. I had to put it into non-geek speak. And then from there, we had to put it into a certain format. And then I also then had to keep that whole piece of, well, exactly what technically were we going to do with this? So keeping those pieces together, that's how we started with that crawl. From there, I just had those prompts. I asked them, tell me technically, what do you want to try to do? Email migration. And then it would walk through those pieces of it. So when I first started with it, I did it in a chat. Started with, having it help me build that statement of work. From there, we took it to a walk. We took the workflow of it. So now I have it so that at that point, it would ask, I had it so it would ask me, what technically were we going to do? Email migration. What does that mean? Well, we're going to go from a POP email to Microsoft 365, all the technical talk to it. What were those steps to it? What high level were those steps to it? And, had a brainstorm with me as to what that would look like. Then I went back to it and had it put together a whole template for it. So with that walk, then we were able to take it on into a run. Now we have it as a published automation, and anybody that needs to do a proposal for a project for the client can now click on that automation, and it prompts them. It asks them, okay, what technically do you want to do? What do you want to name this? What technically do you need to do? And it'll ask them more questions about exactly what they're looking at. And from that, then it generates out the internal statement of work and the external statement of work. And that all happens now. And I don't have to, I'm not involved in it because I have set all the parameters to it. Does somebody take a look at it after that? Absolutely. Is it perfect? No. But it gives us a great skeleton and gets us up. At this point, we're about 95% there with that whole piece in what it's able to do with it. So in that run phase, you can look at what of your current systems can you connect to it, and what can you help do to innovate in your industry? What can you free up of your team's time by 20%? And the other thought to this is, if you could hire 3 new people, what would they do? Could you utilize some of these pieces to help accelerate that? So Lauren here is going to talk a little bit about how she uses it and what we use it and how we use it on her piece of the her piece in the company.
Yeah, so there are really countless ways that you can use it. I mean, there's just so many, but these are just like, it's actually a pretty long list of different ways that I've used it and, on a day-to-day basis. And there's so many different ways, but we've used it to create outlines, timelines on projects and events. It can pick out a schedule for you and keep things rolling and give you a good look on how it should look for you. We've used it to clean and build lists. Like you said before, Lisa, a lot of researching. You can look up a company and it can go through all the different websites and find any information that you need on that company. or it can find a different thing in a document or lists and spreadsheets. Or, I mean, I've had problems where I can't find something specific, so I drop a big list of files and I say, can you find this? And it can analyze it and pull that out for you. We've used it to create scripts, reports, newsletter articles, rewriting testimonials, creating posters, models, images, videos. That one I think is a little bit more common for people. Like you said before, Lisa, you might not really have a visual of what you want something to look like, but you can ask chat or any kind of AI platform, I guess, what it should look like, or it can even give you an example of what it will look like once you finish something. Um, Creating social media captions, presentations, drafting emails is a pretty common one to use. Um, and yeah, just explanations on how you can use anything. I mean, you can just, if it's something new that you're trying out, you can ask it if it can walk you step by step, and it can help you with that. And yeah, advice on comparing options and making choices, comparing anything really to help you. And ideas for anything, like anything. So that's really been a big help for me, because sometimes you just get stuck and it'll open your mind up a little bit more. So
I love whenever you used it for, we did a luncheon for women's power lunch, and Lauren had talked to AI a little, talked to chat with it a little bit, and she came up with, okay, the first 10 minutes we're going to do this,
yeah,
and helped us lay out so we could be on track. I would never have thought, I'd sat there, well, let's see, what else do we need to do? And it had some great
right.
ideas of things to add into, what kind of questions to ask. We had a panel. How long should we make that panel? Those kind of things. So brainstorming with it
Yeah,
is been, I really feel like that's taken us to the next level.
for sure. So yeah, so now we're going to dive into the actual different AI platforms that are best to use for these five different things. So first is content and communications. There's Lumen 5, Fireflies.ai, Webflow, Brevo, and Hunter. Those are just really great for a wide variety of things, but they're best at your communications and content. It'll be great at giving summaries, drafting emails, sort of things like that.
Yeah, that Fireflies, I see a lot of my colleagues utilize that. It joins into meetings. We use Copilot a lot because we do Teams meetings a lot, but the Fireflies will come in and join any meeting that you're a part of, and it then extracts that information into its portal and has it available for you then a summary of those meetings, to do things. It's kind of like that virtual assistant for you during that
Right.
meeting. So you can engage in the meeting and it helps you on that side of it. Hunter, is that the one that really can help you with the prospecting part of it? Is that the
Yes,
one?
I believe so. Yeah. I haven't had any experience with it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So our appointment setters help use that in trying to find other right phone corrected phone numbers whenever a phone number's bad, anything of
Right.
that nature.
I'm gonna.
So yeah, these are great platforms just in that content and communications part of it. Then we get into,
Sorry about that.
that's okay.
Yeah, so next is for knowledge and research. So these I think people might be a little bit more familiar with: ChatGPT, Claude, Fire, or Gemini, really, the Google Gemini. And I know that you have a little bit more experience with these probably for on the research side of things.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. Yeah, and especially in well, everybody sees sees Gemini now, because now
yeah,
anybody that use Google, when you type in that Google search, that's the first thing that pops up at the top now.
yes,
They're letting the AI help you with your Google search before they're actually giving you giving you those email those websites.
Yeah. So these are just great for anybody that, I mean, you're researching on anything. It goes through all the different websites and it can pull stuff that, it can pull anything that you specifically want to know about. So it's a lot quicker at doing your research. And I think they are all very highly rated on their knowledge too, that they're very accurate. So.
Yes, yes.
Creative. So this one is more of what I use because I'm in marketing. So there's Grok, Veo, InVideo, Adobe Firefly, and then again ChatGPT and Gemini. So ChatGPT and Gemini I've used before creating images or models, even just ideas on what you want something to look like. And I've actually used InVideo and made a couple of videos for us too that it pulls like more like stock videos from the web or whatever that is completely free and everything. And yeah, because we have a subscription for a video, but I've been able to create an ad for us that we can run on LinkedIn. And it's been great. And I know VO is a very common one as well. But
Another one here that's really just come to the forefront is Nano Banana. Nano Banana, I think
oh
that's what it's
yeah,
called.
I just
And
heard that.
they have taken the whole image thing to the next level in actually generating images. Now you don't
Mhm.
get that person with the four fingers. You don't
Right,
get a lot of times whenever they put text in some of these, um, this is just how fast AI is developing in the sense of
right.
that a lot of times the text, something will be kind of misspelled. If you glance at it
Hmm.
quick, you don't notice it, but when you really look, oh, that doesn't look right.
Yeah.
But I guess Nano Banana has really taken it to the next level in the whole text thing and the accuracy of the video of the images too with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And then for workflows, so Airtable, Linear, Asana, Apollo, Stripe, and Notion. These are all just great for automating anything. If it's on something that you do day to day and it's very repetitive, these would be great tools to just automate it all for you and just give you your time back.
Yeah, and what we mean by automation is, in those workflows, it's really taking prompts and doing multiple steps with it. And then you have that automation there or that workflow there so that you can, in a sense, just like we do with the statement of works. Now anybody in my company can utilize that workflow to create that. So it's shareable then among in your company, you know, de- decentralizing me in the sense that I don't have to do all of those writings.
Yeah, exactly. And then these are the most popular and definitely the most versatile ones that they can help you, like with your content and communications, your research, all the creatives, they can do all of it. They might be better at some than others, with the creating an image or doing the research, but they're definitely the most versatile and would be great for a beginner.
And I guess I probably should interject in here. A lot of these have their free version, and then there's a paid subscription to them.
Yeah.
I want to remind you that remember, if you're not paying for a product, you are the product. So really understand the terms and conditions so that if you're using the free version, they're most likely learning from your everything that you're doing and you're putting into it. It is no longer your there's no data privacy there for that. So keep that in mind as you know, you've got to go experiment. And it's all about the experimenting of it to figure it all out. But be aware of what you're doing and what kind of documents you put up there to experiment with.
Yes. Because I mean, everyone has access to it now. With the free
Yep.
versions, anyone can use it. So
Yep.
there's definitely some safeguards you have to keep in place. So now we have just some tips that me and Lisa, these are our favorite one-liners to use whenever we're using any kind of AI. Ask me one question at a time. This will help you walk through it step by step, and that kind of makes it take its time a little bit more. And then again, walk me through the steps of this. So same kind of thing. What do you need to complete this? So sometimes you can prompt it to do a bunch of different things, and you'll be like, I'm missing something, and you don't know what it is. It'll give you ideas. It'll say, well, would you like to go further in depth on this, or would you like to include this? Is there any other information you need from me? Again, it can help you come up with more ideas and be more thorough. Don't make stuff up. So that one you can use. I know, Lisa, that's one of your favorites. You can use it just to make sure that, I mean, on the research side, I haven't had any issues with it, but sometimes it can get a little out of control if you don't tell it to stay in its place, kind of. And then
Well,
right,
and I
oh,
think it feels like it needs to always know something. It always has to provide an answer, right? So I
yeah,
think it's that part of that if it can't, it's a predictive language. So if it can't, if it's going to predict what it should. If it can't find the answer, it's going to predict an answer. Like the
yes,
sky is, and it's going to predict blue. Well, it's raining out. No, it's not blue. That kind
yeah,
of thing. So it needs more. You need to make sure you keep it in check.
yes, exactly. And then rate this on a scale of 1 through 10 and give me ways I can improve it. That just it can help you in that way on a project or anything that you're working on. It can give you different ideas. So,
And this is the most important one.
yep, just ask AI how to use AI. Just say, what do I do? And it knows, and it can tell you exactly what it wants to hear and what it needs to hear to give you the right response. And then we have some best practices for AI-driven cybersecurity. So, like we kind of said before, adopting AI does not mean replacing humans at all. You need people to use AI. It's just a matter of teaching them and having, again, the right safeguards in place so that you keep your data private, um, regularly updating and having the right AI models that can detect evolving threats. And you want to ethically promote AI usage. You want to prevent bias and any kind of misuse, especially with your employees.
Yeah.
And some final thoughts. AI enhances security, um, but new threats will emerge. So it's just important to always keep that in mind. Again, human and AI collaborate together, and there will be continuous adaptation. Like Lisa showed that chart before, it's exponentially rising. I mean, day by day, especially in the last 6 months, I think it's been crazy how much it's grown.
Yeah. Daily.
Yeah. So what we do know is that with your security, shadow AI is already going to be happening. Like Lisa said before, employees are using free tools probably, and they could be risking your sensitive data. So with your adoption, even if you have AI access, the challenge is getting the whole team to actually use it effectively. You want it to be safe, but you also want it to be worth it.
Oh, okay. There we go.
So, the time to start is now. Um, I mean, I don't know when we started working with AI. It's been quite a while, probably now. But, we started in the experimenting and validating steps, and now I would say we're probably innovating. Um, so the sooner you start, the further ahead you'll be, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It was easy for us to start in the marketing area.
Yeah.
Um, the marketing company that we worked with really helped us identify that and helped encourage us with that. And then as the whole platforms evolved, bringing it into the tech world was a very easy introduction with
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah, I think that definitely
Yeah.
helped get it started.
So, what do we have for you? So, as you know, a cybersecurity company, managed technology services provider, um, we've got to embrace this, and we've got to be able to bring to our clients a safe environment for them to work in. We have partnered with a company called HATS, and what it brings to the table is a secure AI platform. They have over 50 AI models in place that you can utilize. Like you can start with the chat and you can pick any of the large language models to use. Um, it also includes education. They are the ones that brought to us the whole crawl, walk, run. And that's exactly what they have in their whole AI certification program with it. Um, it brings in a framework of how you can go about adopting this. And it makes it really easy, makes it for easy wins. So you can start with the chat, you can manage your AI, we can help you build agents and along with the workflows. So this brings in that secure environment, and we can also help you in understanding you can track the adoption because this platform is all contained. We can see exactly how much it is being adopted and who are your heavy hitters at your business, who can help you, who can help the whole business move forward with the whole adoption piece of it. It also integrates with lots of different services. So we have the ability to integrate into Teams and Slack and utilize LinkedIn and email. We have integrated our whole marketing folder, our marketing team. So now they can use this one agent and they have access to all of the great material that Lauren has completed for us. And so now it can always talk in our right voice for our ideal customer profile. All of those pieces are all integrated together with this platform. So we have AI as a service now, and it is a month-to-month service. So you're able to give it a try. And if, when something else changes and something else comes along and makes a little different sense, it's easy to turn this off and turn on new. We also, with the Ohio, if you're in Ohio and you're there is what they call the Ohio Tech Credit Program. We are able to do a certification, and with that tech credit, you can get reimbursed for the cost of this platform by getting two people in their certification program. We will provide you with the documentation that you need to submit this to the Ohio Tech Cred, and that you can then get a reimbursement for your AI platform because of the education part of it that it brings to the table. And then it also brings you a lot of useful, it brings you the platform then to be able to use it from. So this, as part of AI as a service, we're able to help you get it paid for by the Tech Credit Program. That's all I've got today. I don't see any questions out there, Lauren.
No.
We have a code there you can scan to book a call with us, and we can talk to you more about AI as a service. Talk to us about AI. This is not it's not a it's not a sales pitch. Like, we do have a service, we have that available. We'd love for you to use it, But let's talk about your AI usage. Maybe you've got something already going on. Maybe you've already engaged in ChatGPT and have that all set up for your company. Let us help you, help you roadmap out where you're going with it and see how it's going. So book-discovery-call.com or use that QR code and you can book a 10-minute call and we can talk to you about your AI. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Have a great day.